For my anatomy and phys class, this is one of the last two projects and the last time you're going to see me. And just fair warning, this is going to be a long one. And there's no way to really avoid it because it's a long topic, going over 5 reproductive cancers, 3 that primarily hit women and 2 that hit men. And there's a lot to unpack. And I gave this little quote here, and I stole it, and I can't remember the source. It's not mine. It was somebody talking about the coronavirus, and somebody was talking about what had happened in New York City in responding to coronavirus. And it was, "In God we trust, but everyone else brings data." And I think that's a good way to go through things here. There's a lot of personal feelings. And anytime you talk about cancer, emotions run high. And for good reasons, because no matter what type of cancer you talk about, it's awful. And there were some things I wanted people to accomplish with this assignment. Not all cancers are created equal. Some are more deadly because they're just more common. Some are deadly, but you have them for a long period of time. Others aren't very common, but are really, really aggressive by their nature. And so I wanted people to kind of be able to tease that out in this assignment. So I needed to do put some order to this. I wanted to show people the benefit of screening when you can do it, because you can't always do it. And then when you're able to screen, what's the impact that it has on survival and early detection, and how that spins the game forward. And there's always so much about being spun about awareness. Is awareness really the answer? So I'm going to, instead of doing this by subtopics of risk factors and whatnot and comparing each one of the cancers, in order to present, I'm going to have to go through by cancer. So I'm going to address breast cancer first, and followed by prostate cancer. They're common, and there's at least a screening protocol or an attempt at one. And then what I'm going to do, it's a little bit different here. Then I'm going to talk about testicular and ovarian cancer, and then I'm going to come back and hit cervical cancer, because it's actually, cervical cancer is kind of a high note to end upon. There's some success here. I'm omitting a few cancers, not because they're not important, but I think people pick up on the trend, and I'm trying to keep this presentation at under 5 hours. So that's where we're going to go. I'm also not talking treatments, because that would lengthen what we're talking about, and I think at this point, specifics are way beyond the scope of what we're talking about here, and you're learning the basics at this point. Local disease, you try to remove the doggone thing if you can, and as it spreads, you add more and more treatment modalities. That's where chemotherapy and radiation come in. As a side note, with leukemias and lymphomas, because those are blood cancers, you can't really cut out something that's bloodborne, so you've got to do more treatment modalities to begin with. So with that in mind, I want to start off. So we'll start off with breast cancer. And I want to again make it very clear here. We're talking risk factors. We're not talking direct cause. Most cancers start off with a similar cause. You get a DNA hit, it causes a mutation. The mutation causes your cell lines to go haywire, and then your cell line does something that's damaging to you. So with breast cancer, it's a little bit different, and I thought the American Cancer Society did a really nice job laying this one out, so I'm really using that for the basis for some of the upcoming slides. There's risk factors you can't change, and then risk factors you can change. And that's really important, because there are some things that you get that there's not a darn thing you can do about, but then there are some things that you can mitigate and try to eliminate. So when I come back, we'll pick up with risk factors and the ones that you can actually not change.